Everything leaves a trace. The deer in the snow, the fire in the ash, the hand on the bar, the word in the heart. You don't have to be remembered, you just have to be real. This is the trace we leave. I walked through the forest at dawn. The snow was fresh, the tracks were new. A fox had passed before the sun, a rabbit and a bird then two. I followed them for miles and miles, not to catch, just to see. The trace they leave is their wild smile, the proof that they were free. Not free from death, from hunger, from fear, free to leave a mark. A line in the snow, a song, a tear, a spark against the dark. The trace we leave, the mark we make, the steps we take for goodness sake. The trace we leave, the seed we sow, the only thing we truly know. The trace we leave, the song we sing, the shadow of the wing, the footprint in the snow, the fire in the stone. The trace we leave, the only home. The trace we leave, the root, the crown, the memory that won't go down. Not for fame, not for gold. The trace we leave, the story told. I carved my name into a tree when I was young and wild. I thought the world would remember me as more than just a child. But the tree grew over bark in years, the name became a scar, and I realized the only trace that matters is who you are. Not the letters, not the claim, not the mark you leave for fame. The trace that matters is the hand that helped another understand that they are not alone in the dark. The trace we leave is the spark. The trace we leave, the mark we make, the steps we take for goodness sake. The trace we leave, the seed we sow, the only thing we truly know. The trace we leave, the song we sing, the shadow of the wing, the footprint in the snow, the fire in the stone. The trace we leave, the only home. The trace we leave, the root, the crown, the memory that won't go down. Not for fame, not for gold. The trace we leave, the story told. Da, da, da. Na, 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 na. The trace we leave is not the name, it's not the mark, it's not the claim. It's the silence that follows the word, the song that's sung and never heard, but felt in the heart, in the bone, in the breath. The trace we leave is the death of the stuff that only wanted to be seen. The trace we leave is the green that grows from the soil of the forgotten. The trace we leave is the cotton that wraps the wound that holds the scar. The trace we leave is who you are when no one is looking, when no one is there. The trace we leave is the prayer. Now I walk through the world with open hands, not leaving marks, just leaving land. I can hold the feet of the ones who come. The trace I leave is the hum of the song I sang when no one heard. The trace I leave is the word that I didn't speak but lived instead. The trace I leave is the tread of the path that led me home. The trace we leave is the bone that holds the story, holds the truth. The trace we leave is the root that stays in the earth when the tree is gone. The trace we leave is the dawn. Hey, hey, hey. The trace we You don't have to be remembered, you just have to be real. Spin right, trace memory.